Well, he's
Pooh Shiesty and Chopper Gang ran down on Gucci Mane, relieved him of some of his possessions, and basically forced him to sign a contract releasing Pooh Shiesty from 1017. The label. I had people hit me up saying some of Gotti's people are the one who did this. When you listen to the FDO song, he's shouting out Yo Gotti. If you're signed to Gucci Mane, you are not showing Yo Gotti love.
That means it was a sneak attack. Let's just say maybe Gucci made arrangement to come to Dallas. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Pooh's in Dallas, I'm gonna book some studio time.
Yeah.
We gonna get it in. Hey, Pooh them at the door, let them in. They come in, right? It had to be some shit like that. Gucci wouldn't have been anticipating the problem. It wouldn't have been that easy.
I feel like the signing artist part of Gucci's life is over.
But bro, what's really gonna be over is Pooh Shiesty's career.
Yeah.
He's gonna put his on the shelf. Y'all going on the shelf, boy.
Actually, Gucci Mane was just robbed recently in they say it was in LA. I know that I don't know if you got to see the whole Gucci Mane Pooh Shiesty beef that's been going on. He was just robbed for his wedding ring and his watch. And they say Pooh Shiesty might allegedly have something to do with it, but they're not sure. But apparently him and Pooh Shiesty had a meeting in LA, and the meeting was over Pooh Shiesty trying to get off the 1017 label. And the whole turmoil between him and Pooh Shiesty happened because apparently Pooh Shiesty didn't like the way he handled the death of Big Scar. Big Scar was one of Gucci Mane's artists that was signed to 1017. He passed away over an overdose. He's from Memphis. He's actually Pooh Shiesty's little cousin. So him and Pooh Shiesty came up together. When Big Scar died, Gucci was supposed to pay for the funeral, which they said that he didn't. Then his wife posted receipts that he did pay for the funeral, but he also then asked for the chains back. I believe he had 4 chains that he gave to Big Scar. He asked for Big Scar's chains, and that turned into a whole online beef, a whole online orchestra. And Shiesty, I guess, just wasn't really feeling the way he went about it. And in the midst of all that, Shiesty's trying to get out the deal. Of course, Gucci Mane's like, hell no. And apparently it was like one of those Vanilla Ice Suge Knight situations where Pooh Shiesty pretty much walked in there and was like, yo, look, you gonna sign this shit. We gonna make sure you sign this shit. And apparently Shiesty was with some people and they made him sign it over. And then after they left, they say within minutes, a group of some gangbangers rolled in there and relieved Gucci Mane of some jewelry. Now, I don't know how true that is, but it's been a rumor that's going up left and right. Nobody's been there to really say that it didn't happen, but they're also saying that Shiesty's trying to sign a Yo Gotti. There's a $10 million deal that's already been sitting.
Snitchatron.
You got
What y'all expected out of Pooh Shiesty since he just got out?
So what we expecting out of Pooh Shiesty since he just got out?
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah,
music for sure.
To get it back in blood.
Get back in that music for sure.
That's all he gonna be focused on watching. That's all you gonna see.
Don't do no club.
He ain't about to do. He just about to drop hella shit.
No bullshit right now.
He's just about to drop shit.
He was in halfway house, but he wasn't posting on the internet while all that was going on. I heard that too. They went in the studio, met him, tried to press him like all his big homies. You know, I think they said his pops, all type of motherfuckers. You know, they said Gucci punched one of them and they shit. You feel me? So I ain't no telling. I don't believe Gucci just sit there and just let a nigga do something to him. You know what I'm saying? Over the scar. I mean, I understand everything, but they say Gucci's supposed to punch one of them and they shit. And his ring fell off and his watch like broke and he picked it up. So I don't think it was like a robbery, like, niggas, give me that shit. You know what I'm saying? It was a scuffle, it was going down, and then he lost his pieces.
Ain't putting on, man. That's all we know, man. Putting on like alone, man. Freedom murder, man. Know what's going on.
Their way.
Devils who got them served. They weren't doing it for a little saint, man.
Gucci Mane once said he wasn't the same person anymore, that the version of him from a decade ago was gone. More mature, more peaceful, more focused on growth. But then, new footage surfaced, and suddenly, people started questioning whether that transformation had just been tested in the most personal way possible. Because according to multiple sources, Gucci Mane didn't just get robbed, he allegedly got robbed right after a private meeting with his former artist, Pooh Shiesty. And once you connect the dots between the contract dispute, a fallen family member, and a deal worth millions, the situation starts looking a lot darker than anyone expected. In mid-January 2026, word quietly spread through hip-hop circles that Gucci Mane had been run up on in Los Angeles. Not a random incident. Not a smash and grab. The items taken were extremely specific. his wedding band, and a luxury watch valued well into 6 figures. Sources claimed the total loss reached hundreds of thousands, possibly more. But what really caught people's attention wasn't the jewelry. It was the timing. Just minutes earlier, Gucci had allegedly finished a closed-door meeting with Pooh Shiesty about one thing: getting out of his contract with 1017 Records. The meeting ended. Shiesty left, and shortly after, another group allegedly pulled up and took the jewelry. No footage of the robbery has surfaced, no police report has been made public, no arrests followed, but the streets immediately started asking the same question. Was this really a coincidence or a message? And to understand why people took the rumors seriously, you have to rewind to how this relationship started. Before any of this, Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty were supposed to be family. When Gucci signed Shiesty to 1017 Records in 2020, it wasn't just another deal. Gucci didn't see him as filler on a roster. He saw him as the future. Shiesty came out of Memphis with raw energy, street credibility, and a sound that felt authentic. No polish, no gimmicks, just pressure. Then, Back in Blood dropped, and everything changed overnight. The song went crazy. Platinum plaques followed. Suddenly, Pooh Shiesty wasn't just buzzing. He was one of the most talked about new rappers in the game. Gucci leaned into it. He promoted him heavy, positioned him as the face of 1017's next era. When Shiesty's project performed well, Gucci rewarded him publicly. The slime green Trackhawk wasn't just a gift, it was symbolism. Green meant 1017. That was Gucci saying, "You're really one of us." From the outside, the relationship looked solid. Mentor and protege, experience guiding hunger. But that image was about to get tested. In 2021, everything stopped. Pooh Shiesty caught a federal case tied to a robbery and firearms situation connected to a deal that went left. The industry kept moving, but Shiesty didn't. He was gone. What stood out during that time was Gucci's response. He didn't publicly abandon Shiesty. He didn't distance himself. In fact, Gucci spoke out about Shiesty's prison conditions, saying he was being treated unfairly. He used his platform to apply pressure. That wasn't required by contract. There was no financial upside. Shiesty wasn't touring, wasn't dropping music, wasn't generating revenue. That support looked real. Shiesty ended up sitting down for over 4 years. From 2021 to late 2025, he watched the game change from behind bars. New artists came in, sounds shifted, his moment cooled, but his contract didn't pause. And while Shiesty was locked up, something happened that would permanently change how he saw Gucci. In December 2022, tragedy hit the 1017 family. Big Scar, a Memphis rapper signed to the label, passed away from an OD. The loss shook everyone, but for Shiesty, it hit different. Big Scar wasn't just a label mate, he was blood, his cousin, someone he came up with long before the music. As Scar's label boss, Gucci was expected to handle certain responsibilities. According to early rumors, he didn't. Social media exploded with claims that Gucci refused to cover funeral expenses. The backlash was immediate. Then, Gucci's wife posted receipts showing the funeral had been paid for. That should have ended the story. But it didn't. Because shortly after, reports surfaced that Gucci asked for Big Scar's chains back. 4 chains. Jewelry Gucci had given Scar while he was alive. And in hip-hop, chains aren't just accessories. They're symbols. They mean acceptance, status, family. To Scar's people, that request didn't feel like business. It felt like disrespect. Like everything that was called family had conditions attached. Shiesty was still locked up when all of this happened. He wasn't there to see it himself. He heard about it through calls, messages, and secondhand stories. And every version of that story made the wound deeper. From that point on, whatever trust existed was already fractured. By the time Shiesty touched down in late 2025, he wasn't the same person who went in. 4 years will do that to you. He wanted control. He wanted momentum. And most of all, he wanted out of his deal. From Shiesty's perspective, the contract that once gave him opportunity now felt like a cage. He signed it before the fame, before the plaques, before the leverage. Now he was one of the most recognizable artists tied to 1017, but the deal still favored the label. He publicly hinted that his music was being blocked, that he couldn't move freely. That promises were being broken. At the same time, rumors started circulating that Yo Gotti's CMG had a massive offer waiting, a reported $10 million bag. Memphis to Memphis, a fresh start. But none of that mattered unless Gucci let him go. And Gucci didn't want to. That's what made the Los Angeles meeting so critical. According to multiple accounts, the two finally sat down face to face to hash it out. Shiesty wanted a release. Gucci allegedly said no. The discussion got tense. Some bloggers went even further, claiming intimidation tactics were used. Comparisons to old-school industry stories started surfacing. Sug night, forced signatures, pressure behind closed doors. Nothing has been proven. Everything remains alleged. But what happened next is why people haven't let this go. The meeting ended. Shiesty left. Then Gucci allegedly got hit for his jewelry. And suddenly, the silence became louder than the accusations. Since then, neither side has fully confirmed or denied what happened. Gucci hasn't publicly said he was robbed. Shiesty hasn't directly addressed the allegations. But actions speak. Gucci deleted his welcoming post for Shiesty shortly after it went up. That raised eyebrows. Because why erase support unless something went left immediately? At the same time, Shiesty stayed quiet about the robbery, focusing instead on speaking about blocked music and label betrayal. Legally, that silence makes sense. Shiesty was released under federal supervision. If he had been directly tied to a robbery or kidnapping, people believe he'd already be back inside. The fact that he isn't suggests one of three things. Either the story is exaggerated, or he maintained distance from whatever happened, or no official complaint was ever filed, and that uncertainty is exactly what keeps this situation alive. Rumors only added fuel. Names connected to Memphis street politics started getting mentioned. Social media taunts appeared from figures tied to past violence in the city. That's when the story stopped being just about music, because if street affiliates were involved, this wasn't just a contract dispute anymore. It was something much bigger and much more dangerous. Still, nothing concrete has surfaced, no paperwork, no charges, just whispers, timing, and too many overlapping details to ignore. What makes this situation hit harder is what it represents. The hip-hop industry loves selling the idea of family. Labels aren't businesses, they're brotherhoods. Mentors don't just profit, they protect. But when money, contracts, and power get involved, that mythology cracks fast. Gucci Mane knows that better than most. He lived it as an artist. He talked openly about being trapped in bad deals, about learning the business the hard way, which is why watching him on the other side of that equation feels uncomfortable for a lot of people. At the same time, Shiesty's story isn't clean either. He talks about growth, about leaving dumb SAT behind, yet the allegations surrounding him suggest methods that clash with that message. And that contradiction sits at the heart of this entire situation. In the end, there are no confirmed villains here, just two sides with real grievances, moving in ways shaped by pressure, pride, and past wounds. Gucci may have been both a genuine mentor and a ruthless businessman. Shiesty may have been both a wronged artist and someone willing to take extreme measures. The truth likely lives somewhere in between, in a space the public may never fully see. But one thing is clear: whatever happened in Los Angeles didn't just break a business relationship. It shattered an image, and once that image cracked, the industry started looking at everything a little differently. So, what do you think really went down? Was this all coincidence? Or something way deeper? Let me know your thoughts.